Hi ho! Welcome to VictorOps.
I'm Tom Hart. I'm the Vice President of Operations here at VictorOps.
My name is Eric Thyberg, and I'm an Operations Specialist here at VictorOps.
And then we've got Nate Grebe, who's also an Operations Specialist in as well. So every Tuesday at 2 Mountain, we do a brief walkthrough of our the VictorOps platform and the key features and functionality. The ops team has been obligated to do this, so we are going to walk you through a product demonstration here. So without further ado, we're going to start a screen share.
All right, you should be seeing our screen at this point.
Okay, so just a bit of brief background before we get started with the product demonstration. Our background from a leadership perspective here at VictorOps comes from a fairly extensive telecommunications background. Beginning in the early to mid 90s, the core leadership team here, myself included, built and deployed a global telephony platform that had to run at a 5 nines uptime. So we ran that platform for roughly 10 plus years before selling that particular company. But during that time, the product that you see in front of you, the idea behind it was really born from a quote unquote combat experience during that support of that global telephony platform. So what we recognized as we grew as an organization and we got into triage situations is that there wasn't a central single pane of glass available for all of the various teams throughout the organization that were in a support role of some way or another, be it database, network engineering, myself in operations. We would all get on a control call or a conference call, but we'd all be looking at different pieces of data in relation to the firefight. So again, the VictorOps platform was born from that experience to draw situational awareness into an organization. So everyone throughout the organization from a support capacity has full transparency into exactly what's going on with your infrastructure, with the central objective being to resolve incidents faster. Depending on the infrastructure that you're supporting, there's revenue associated to it, there are customers associated to it. So obviously time to resolution from an operational perspective is paramount to the success of your organization. So the VictorOps platform is centered on providing you with that transparency and a collaborative environment where your teams can work issues to ground faster. So with that background in mind, I'm going to turn it over to Eric here, who's going to talk to the left-hand side of this screen, which is our people pane.
All righty, Roo. Thanks, Tom. On the left side here, we have what we like to call the people pane. This is going to be all of the members of your organization in this list. As you can see, we have 3 people at the top who have an oak leaf next to their name. That is used to denote that they are currently on call. The team that they're currently on call for is listed in orange. So we have Jason with database and DevOps, Nick with database. Oh, and Nate Grebe, he's a superstar. He's with Follow the Sun, sales, and everyone. If you click on their name, you can get all their personal information or contact information. You got an email address, phone number, and any other information they provide for backup contact info. Down at the bottom here, you can hold sidebar conversation. That will not be recorded in the main timeline you see here. And we also have the take on call button. We all have different things we like to do outside work. Tom likes to spend time coaching his kids' hockey games and baseball games and stuff like that. So oftentimes he'll get out of pocket and he'll just say, hey, with an at mention here, let's say John. Say, hey, John, can you take on call? To which John can very easily jump in here and just click take on call for whatever team or all the teams. And at that point, he effectively passes the pager, and John assumes all responsibilities of being on call. Once Tom is done with those games, he can jump back in and take on call back, and everything is just as it was before. As we back out here, you'll see below these 3 on-call individuals that these guys have green dots next to their name. This green dot is a little bit more vibrant than this one, and that's to show that Eric has logged on, or myself has logged on more recently than Brad. That green dot will decay over about 3 hours until it becomes kind of this translucent color you see here. Also worth mentioning real quick, as we did with the @mention to John, you can also add @mention a team, and that will send a push notification to everybody. I don't believe Tom mentioned, but this same look and feel you see in our web UI is also available for both Android and iOS clients. It's definitely a consistent user experience. One really cool thing if you're using the mobile client is if you click on somebody's name here, these buttons are hot, and you can initiate an email, phone conversation, or SMS directly from the app.
That's right.
So back to you, Tom.
Thank you, Eric. Moving into the center part of your screen here, we have no shame in admitting that we are ripping off a little bit of what Twitter, the Twitter experience is in the main timeline. So as you come on board to the VictorOps platform, if you have monitoring solutions in place such as New Relic, Nagios, Xenos, Zabbix, you name the monitoring solution, you'll plug that plumbing into the VictorOps platform, and all of that information will flow into this central timeline, again, providing your entire organization with full situational awareness of what's going on with your infrastructure. I'm going to have Nate start up a demo script here, and we'll walk through the life cycle of an incident. Or I'm going to just have Nate jump in and walk through annotations and incidents.
So I'm going to use our Keyboard integration to create a alert outside of the demo, because those are going to auto-resolve themselves. So as you see, when an alert first comes into the system, it shows up both in the main timeline here and then queues up over here on the right under the triggered column. We have 5 outstanding incidents right now, none of which have been acknowledged at this point. So when an alert comes in, you have 2 options, to acknowledge or reroute. The acknowledge option stops all pages from being sent out and moves it down to the acknowledge queue, and it says who did that, so you have a good idea of who is working on any incident in particular. The other option is to reroute, which is available both in the acknowledged or triggered state. And what this does is it sends the alert off to a different team. So if I feel like this demo alert is better suited for the database team, I can reroute it to them, and we'll start paging the on-call individual for that team, or in this case, individuals. The nice thing about this is that you are not required to look up who is on call for that team, what their phone number is, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge this alert again. If we click in on one of the incidents over here on the right, you're presented with an incident timeline specific to just this incident. So you can see when it opened, when it was acknowledged, when it was rerouted, and all that. So if you have a flood of alerts coming into the system and you want to focus on just one incident at a time, you can open the incident timeline, chat from there. Everything will still show up in the main timeline, but the incident number will automatically be appended to a chat message that is entered in here, and therefore you know what you're being called into if you get an @mention or are part of an @mention from within this incident.
Similarly, you can also set custom notifications on your iOS and Android devices for any notifications that you receive through the VictorOps platform. So you can customize the sounds of a particular incident as they come in. There's an example of the VictorOps siren. So,
real quick, I just want to touch on annotations. This is a feature we currently have behind a beta flag, or feature flag rather. But what it allows you to do is take any of the information from within the alert, whether it be host name or really any field that you see in any of the alerts you have in your VictorOps system, and then create annotations in the form of a note, a link, or an image. As you see here, we have an image link to a graph, 2 links, one to a run book, and one to our GitHub repository, and also a triage note as well. The other option, besides annotations, is to transform pieces of the alert. So if you wanted to adjust the routing key or the severity level of an incident based on host name or something of that sort. You'd be able to do that using wildcard matches, and we can get into a little bit more of that later. One final thing I want to touch on before we move on to settings is maintenance mode. Entering maintenance mode, as you see here, will stop all pages from being sent. So any triggered incident that comes in will still show up in the timeline, but no notifications will be sent out to your team. This is great for if you have a scheduled downtime or maintenance that is going to cause a lot of alerts to be sent that you don't want to wake people up for. Exiting maintenance mode will resume pages on all outstanding triggered incidents at that time.
So from here, we're going to move into the settings portion of the application. This is only available through the web UI. We figured that most people wouldn't want to build an on-call rotation on their phone. So the administrative features of the VictorOps platform, such as building on-call rotations, reporting, and integrations in terms of setting up the plumbing from your alerting systems into the VictorOps platform. Those features and functionality are all available through the web client. I should point out that the support organization here, myself included, we are always available to assist you in getting your on-call rotations and your integrations set up. So please don't hesitate to reach out to support@victorops.com, and we will do our best to respond to you as quickly as possible and assist you with any questions that you might have. So Eric's going through here. You can see some of the scheduling capabilities that we have. We have a great degree of flexibility in terms of what we can provide to you in terms of on-call schedules. Most of our clients use a standard, one person on call for a particular team or teams plural for a 7-day period of time, and then they hand off the baton to another individual. If you have a more complicated schedule, such as a follow the sun schedule, we can accommodate that as well. There's an example in front of you there where you have various teams throughout different geographic areas, and you can schedule accordingly. We won't spend too much time on scheduling. We feel it's fairly straightforward, and again, if you have any questions on it, we're always available to assist you. Eric's drilled into the escalation policy for a particular team, and I'll let him speak to kind of some of the capabilities we have here.
Yeah, so you can set as many steps in this escalation policy as you desire. This one is going to be the first step in the escalation policy, notify the on-duty users in the rotation. You can just change these through the drop-down menu, change who you're going to be contacting and stuff like that. Adding step 2, 3, 4, however many you want. These time limits are all changeable as well. As soon as you are notified, that's going to then go from the escalation policy from the team into what we like to call the personal paging policy. And I'll kind of jump into that and show you that real quick too. So this is going to be personal paging policy, 3 Ps, or triple P, or PPP, as I like to call it. We have Dan Jones information here. We highly suggest that you keep all this information up to date as possible, because if we try and contact you and you don't have the right information in there, it's not going to go where it needs to be. So at the bottom here, he has it set up as a demo account, but every 1 minute until we've reached you, send an email. But you can just really easily add steps within each one. We have 4 different ways of being alerted. Those are SMS, phone calls, emails, and push notifications through the device themselves on Android and iOS.
Should point out that we currently do not charge for international notifications via phone or SMS, so that is something that separates us from some of the other folks that are in the market.
Yeah. And as with the escalation policy, these are completely adjustable to your preferences. You could have all these fire off at once and receive all modes of communication at one time, or 2 at a time. However you want to be alerted, you can do that.
Okay, from here we're going to go over into integrations. As you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, there is a list of the current formal integrations that we have available. A lot of these services should be commonplace to to most of you. Again, just to reiterate, the operations support team is always available to assist in getting your integrations and on-call rotations set up, and you can reach us at support@VictorOps.com. There's a knowledge base available to you in the lower right-hand side. Nate has spent a great deal of time in going through and adding detailed technical notes to all of our available integrations. And we are adding integrations with every sprint that we do. So we recently introduced, as you can see in the center of your screen, our Slack integration that we're pretty proud about and has been well received. So again, always available to assist with integrations. So please feel free to reach out or leverage the knowledge base. From here, we're going to jump into reporting. And as you can see in front of you, most of these reports are fairly self-explanatory. One of the recent ones that we introduced was user metrics, which allows you as a manager, as a team member, to see how many incidents you've fielded over a set period of time, mean time to acknowledgement, mean time to resolution, things of that nature. So kind of KPI or key performance indicator type reporting. The other report that or a lot of our customers use quite frequently is the post-mortem report. Myself in particular, having had to conduct retrospectives and post-mortem reports for a number of years, always a difficult process to pull various data sources together into a graceful looking report that you could send externally or internally to your customer base. If you plug your various monitoring solutions into the VictorOps platform, we consolidate all of that data on your behalf, and any subsequent chat messages that you send in the main timeline, etc., will be captured in the postmortem report. So Eric has selected a particular date and time range. So let's say you had an outage last night over a 2-hour period of time, or whatever the case may be. Everything associated to that event is rolled up into the postmortem report. As Eric's indicating here, you can go through and remove items that are irrelevant to the actual postmortem report, and also append notes to particular timestamps or incidents that occurred during the outage situation, so that you have a very graceful report that you can send to your internal customer base or your external customer base to support whatever service level agreements that you need to adhere to. So that we're going to stop screen sharing here. That's a quick walkthrough of the VictorOps platform. If you have any questions, we encourage you to reach out to the VictorOps support team at support@VictorOps.com. You can go out to the website and create a 14-day free trial at any time, and we're always available to assist you during your trial experience, and we would love to see you come on board as a customer. So we look forward to hearing from you, and thanks for your time. Toodles.